Hello ladies and gentlemen, in this video we are going to learn TOEFL strategy for listening comprehension for different parts, that is part B and part C. In this part, we just have to keep one thing in our mind, that is review the answers to the questions. Okay, before you review the answers to the questions, here are the things that you should try to do. First, anticipate the topics of the conversation. Second, anticipate the questions of each group of answers. Now, let's listen to the examples of looking at the topics, yeah?
Listen to the first part of each of the conversations and decide on the topic of each conversation.
So the things that you have to do is listen to the first part of the conversation, and then by listening that, you can decide what is the topic of the conversation. Okay, next.
Number 1. The first part of conversation 1 is,
I'm looking for a part-time job on campus.
what is the topic of conversation 1?
Okay, so first you have to listen to the first part of the conversation and then decide, yeah? So what is the topic? Here, the man said that he is looking for a part-time job on campus. So that's the topic. What about conversation 2?
Number 2. The first part of conversation 2 is,
Hi, Jack. It's good to see you again. Are you ready to get down to business again after spring break?
Not really, but I guess I don't really have too much choice, do I? And it's going to be particularly hard to get back to work since I just had the most fantastic vacation ever.
Really? What did you do?
I went kayaking on the Klamath River.
what is the topic of conversation 2?
Okay, so in the conversations you hear about spring break, fantastic vacation, and kayaking on the Klamath River. So from these 3 clues or 3 hints, we can guess that the topic of conversation 2 is his experience doing kayaking on his last vacation. Okay, now let's go to the next one.
Number 3. The first part of conversation 3 is,
Did you read the article that the professor assigned for tomorrow's class? It was really interesting.
No, not yet. What was it about?
It was about pollution, specifically one kind of pollution called acid rain.
what is the topic of conversation 3?
Okay, in the conversation 3, the hints are articles, pollutions, and acid rains. From these 3 hints or clues, we can guess the topic of conversation 3 is one kind of pollution, that is acid rain. Okay, cool. Now let's go to the next one. So before reviewing the answers to the questions, besides anticipating the topics and also the questions, we can try to draw conclusions about who, what, when, and where the conversation happened. Okay, now let's listen to the examples here.
Listen to the first part of each of the conversations and try to imagine the situation. Then answer the questions in the text.
So the most important things in part B and part C, that you really have to focus on the first part of the conversations. It plays a very vital or important functions here, yeah? Because by listening to the first part of the conversation, we can guess the topics. We can also draw a conclusion about who, what, when, and where the conversation happened. Okay, without any further, let's go to the conversation 1.
Conversation 1. Listen to the beginning of Conversation 1 and try to imagine the situation.
I'm looking for a part-time job on campus.
Then you've come to the right place. The Campus Employment Office is here just to help students like you find jobs on campus.
I'm glad to hear that, because I really need to start earning some money.
Okay, so for conversation 1, the first question is, who is probably talking? How many people? Who are they? There are 2 people are talking in the conversation. The first one is the students, and the second one is the employment office worker. And then question number 2, where does the conversation take place? At the campus, of course. Okay, now let's go to the conversation 2.
Conversation 2. Listen to the beginning of Conversation 2 and try to imagine the situation.
Hi, Jack. It's good to see you again. Are you ready to get down to business again after spring break?
Not really, but I guess I don't really have too much choice, do I? And it's going to be particularly hard to get back to work since I just had the most fantastic vacation ever.
Really? What did you do?
I went kayaking on the Klamath River.
Okay, so in the conversation 2, the first question is, who is probably talking? What do you think, everyone? Who are they? How many people? 2 people. And who are they? Students. Yeah. The second one, when does the conversation take place? So when you listen to the conversations, you will hear that the speakers mention about spring break. Spring break here means that holiday, yeah, after the semester ends. So when does the conversation take place? After a semester break or a holiday or a beginning of semester. Now number 3, what is the source of the man's information? It means that what does the man talk about? What is it about? It is about a trip that he just took during the holiday, the vacation. It's easy, right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Conversation 3.
Conversation 3. Listen to the beginning of Conversation 3 and try to imagine the situation.
Did you read the article that the professor assigned for tomorrow's class? It was really interesting.
No, not yet. What was it about?
It was about pollution, specifically one kind of pollution called acid rain.
Okay, so for conversation 3, the first question is, who is probably talking? Who are they? 2 students again. And then number 2, when does the conversation take place? During a semester. Okay. And then number 3, what is the source of the information? The article you read. It's easy peasy lemon squeeze. Okay, that's all the strategy that you have to keep in your mind for doing TOEFL listening comprehensions part B and part C. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Have a nice day, everyone. Goodbye.